There's like this like
Mm-hmm.
holy trinity of BLs that we do not talk about or touch.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And those three are usually the popular three.
Hi everyone, welcome to Lovecast the BL podcast. I'm your host Heather, and with me is your other host Pixie. Today on the show, we are joined by Korean American singer-songwriter Dabit. Dabit, welcome to Lovecast.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We've been following
Yeah.
your. Okay, so I say we. I don't
Mhm.
actually know how the other members of Lovecast have come across you and your like music and your I guess online presence. But me myself, I fell upon you because of your journey into BL that you've been tweeting about. Because we're all about BL and GL and QL,
Right,
I guess is now the term here on
right,
the
right, right.
podcast. So that's kind of how I found you. So I guess let's kind of start maybe
Hmm.
how you like to be known. How do you usually introduce yourself?
Uh, I guess I usually just come forward with like my name is Tabi. I'm a Korean American singer songwriter based in South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like depending on the situation, I'll probably also add I was also known as Chonguk from the reality show His Man season 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like usually that's how I would introduce myself, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess because you introduce yourself as a singer-songwriter, let's start there. Let's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of start where actually like I guess right at the beginning, how did you start your career in music?
Well, I think I've always wanted to do music, and I grew up mostly in America, in the US. And this
Mm.
is like, this is like in the early 2000s. I don't want to age myself, but it's probably inevitable. Like, yeah, like early 2000s. I was probably like one of the only Korean guys in my whole entire school.
Mm.
And yeah, I was probably that obnoxious guy who was like forcing K-pop and K-dramas down all of my friends' throats.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
like no, it was pretty bad. I would like invite them to my birthday party, and then like I'd be like, okay, we're gonna watch a Korean movie, and like
Yeah.
yeah, it was just
Subtitles
such
on.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly, because
Awesome.
I am Korean American, but I lived in Korea for I was born in the States, and then I moved to
Mm.
Korea,
Mhm.
stayed there until I was like maybe in around kindergarten, and then I moved back to the States
Mm.
and went from first grade all the way to senior and high school year.
Mhm.
And then every summer I would go back and forth. So I just kind of had both identities were pretty big to me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think being in a predominantly white neighborhood, I think I
Mm.
felt that I wanted to hold on to my unique identity,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and try to brand myself as that like K-pop person. And like back then I was the only one doing it. I swear, back
Okay.
then,
You're the trendsetter.
yeah,
You're the
K-pop wasn't a
OG.
big thing. It's like back then I'd be like, oh, do you know like Boa or like
Yeah.
Hwisung or Shinhwa? Like it's like more old school bands
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and idols. So it was a different time, and people didn't know about it, and all my friends were very nice. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And a lot of my friends were into like film and stuff like that, so they
Mhm.
appreciated like the Korean films and everything. But
Right.
yeah, it's K-pop in that aspect. K-pop was always like a big part of my identity as well,
Mhm.
and I think
Yeah.
that's what ultimately got me interested in into music.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've always wanted to become a singer specifically in Korea,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just kind of had that dream. Never really became an option or a reality until one day I just kind of applied to Berklee College of Music, and I got
Mhm.
in with a scholarship. And that was the only reason I was able to convince my parents to be like, okay, maybe music might be a thing I could do. because
Yeah.
they were always like, like, why would you take such a difficult route? When I have this whole easy route planned for you. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I went to school. I went to Berkeley College. I ended up going to Berkeley College of Music, and midway through, I was like, I'm gonna move to Korea and try my shot at being like an idol before I, get a little bit too old and past that,
Yeah.
prime
Yeah.
age of being an idol. Because I think at that point I was like 20, 21. So I was like stretching it to be an idol. So I was like,
Yeah.
I wanted to try it out, even if it doesn't work out. I wanted to try it. And yeah, that's kind of how my whole musical journey started in Korea.
Yeah. And then were you training in a group or did you debut in a group?
So, okay, so it can be very confusing, and I think even
Yeah.
some of my friends back home were confused because I was training uh I was actually accepted. So I was constantly auditioning when I went to Korea. I went for an internship at NBC, and it was for
Mhm.
this music program. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna network, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna like audition for a bunch of companies. And my parents literally thought I was just doing this for like an internship for like maybe half a year or a year. But behind
Yeah.
their backs, they expected me to graduate, and like become a
Yeah.
professor or something. But I was like
Yeah. And you're like,
auditioning
no,
constantly, and
I'm
then
on
I'd
it.
be like,
Yeah.
sorry, I have a contract now. I can't go back to school. Like, oops. Uh,
Surprise.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I started there and I auditioned for a bunch of companies and I got in like the top 10 for like JYP, and then I actually got into low end back when IU was like uh
Yeah.
just starting out and becoming like this huge sensational singer songwriter. But then my other friend had me audition for the company that he was in, which was Toon Entertainment, and they were practicing to debut as a group called now known as 24K.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I had already gotten into low end, but then there were like 70 plus trainees, and it was
Right.
going to be a very just kind of a
Competitive.
ruthless, cutthroat
Yeah.
environment. And I remember the first thing they told me was like, you need to like lose like 20 pounds, and like you need to
Oh,
do this and
Jesus.
that and that
Oh,
and that,
Jesus.
and you have to know that you're
Yeah.
behind. Whereas this place, Toon Arte, they were like, oh yeah, just stick around with us, and when you're ready, you are pretty much secured and sure to debut with this group. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, I think I'm gonna try the
Oh, good.
safer route.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up going there. But then, yeah, it just after training for about a year, I realized that it was doing more harm than good, and then
Mm.
decided to just not debut with them and started my solo journey as a singer songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
But there is another member of 24K that had debuted with
Okay.
24K, and his name is Jungkook as well.
Mm.
So he has the same exact name
Right.
as me. So people were
And
very
that's where people get
confused.
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, congrats on your debut," and I kept getting these congratulations because there was a
You're like, oh,
guy.
that's news to me.
Yeah, and he became a
Yeah.
trainee right as I left, so it was very
Right.
confusing. He had the same exact name as me, Kim Jong Wook. Even like our last names were the same,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so there
That
there, there
is
was a lot of
confusing.
confusion with that. But yeah, that's a completely different person. Uh, yeah.
Wow.
I could see how that would be I could see how that would be confusing, especially I guess for like international fans if they don't
Right.
know the full story and they're seeing the two names and they're
Yeah.
like, wait, but isn't that Dabit? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very confusing, and who knows, maybe like I just reworked my whole entire face and like I changed so I look a little different. Anything is possible. So I mean, I don't blame anyone who makes that mistake, but yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people do think that I actually debuted with 24K, but I just trained with them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And so now you're a solo singer-songwriter, writing your own
Yes.
music, producing your own music.
So I do basically I write the melodies and the lyrics, but I have another wonderful producer who I work very closely with, and yeah, he brings all of my music to life basically.
I love that. I love like making anything with creative people, like being creative with creative people. I find so fulfilling. Like, is that Is that something that you find fulfilling as well?
Yeah, it's I think because I've always it's kind of it depends because in one
Mm.
aspect it's very fulfilling, but as a
Mm-hmm.
perfectionist and as someone, I think as an artist or singer-songwriter, I think a lot of artists will be able to relate. Every work that you put out is a direct reflection of you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your quote unquote talent and your
Oh
story and
yeah.
everything. So a lot of songwriters, I think, and artists end up becoming a little bit too much of a perfectionist and too
Mm.
hypercritical of their own work. So they'll
Right.
never be completely content. And in that aspect, I completely relate to that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
never 100% content, and a lot of the
Mm.
times I just have to kind of, just tell myself that it's not about releasing something that's perfect from the beginning, but showing
Mm-hmm.
them, like, I guess, the process and the journey and the
Mm-hmm.
evolution. Like,
Yeah.
just looking at it from a pure musical standpoint, I want to like delete all of my old songs. That's what I want to do, or maybe change my stage name and start something new.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is taking away from my humble beginnings,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
and yeah, it shows my growth. And I
Yeah.
think, cringe or not,
Yeah.
I have to embrace all of it.
Yeah. I
I have to
mean,
say,
we're all humans, right? So,
yeah.
and humans are flawed, and that being reflected in the creative work we do is kind of beautiful. And
Right,
it's like if you create something, I don't know, if you do pottery and create a plate, like every plate is going to be different, and
right,
that's
right.
there's beauty in that
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
individuality of each item, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
definitely agree. Yeah.
I was gonna say you went really like philosophical, Pixie. I was literally gonna say, well, Pixie has a story about the first season of Lovecast and how she doesn't want people to go watch it because of
Yeah, that's
because of
true.
how cringe it is.
Oh, it's so cringe. I cannot watch the first episodes of this podcast. I did an interview alone with this actor in Thailand, and it's the worst thing you'll ever watch. Don't watch
It's
it.
not that bad, but
But
it's like you're
that's
so self. Yeah, no, you
right.
go.
I no, I think that's a great way to improve in general. I think
Yeah.
everyone needs to start. You have to watch your cringe self to be able to be self-aware and
Yeah.
improve. I think
Grow
that goes
from
for
it. Yeah.
vocalists as well. Like, you have to
Mhm.
constantly
Yeah,
monitor, and yeah, there's no other way to do that than to actually, go out there and do
Throw
your thing.
yourself out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
just try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, just
100%.
try.
Yeah.
100%, yeah. So you kind of spoke a little bit about like like your process or the
Mm.
process, I guess. What is your actual musical creation process like? Like, can you walk us through it?
Right. So I think I do want to make a I want to distinguish that I am a singer songwriter and not
Yeah,
a songwriter, because I think those are also a little bit different.
Mhm.
yeah,
Because songwriters are usually like, because I went to a songwriting camp, and these are huge in
Mhm.
Korea, where a lot of songwriters and producers, they come together and they like work on music, and they kind
Mhm.
of try to sell it to like some idol companies and stuff like that. And I realized that I am not a songwriter.
Right.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
because these songwriters, they are able to write music on the go. Like, they
Mm.
have a bazillion ideas in their head, and they're just kind
yeah,
of like throwing them out, putting things together, and like Frankensteining things until it comes out to be a pretty decent piece. And even if it's not a decent piece, they're like, oh, someone will buy it.
yeah,
Right.
And something about that just didn't sit right with my creative process, because everything,
Mhm.
I hyper analyze everything, every single, like, I'll focus on like 3 or 4 lyrics for like a month sometimes,
yeah,
Right.
because it's very personal, and it's
Mhm.
my personal story, and it's a story that I want to show to my audience. And yeah, it's just, I end up overthinking a lot of things, and
Mm.
I really make sure to try to make everything as, you know, custom to me,
Mhm.
unique
mm,
to me as possible, whether that's the melody or the lyrics.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a very different process than regular songwriters.
Mhm.
yeah,
I can take a week sometimes if it's very fast. Sometimes I'll take up to like 3 months to write a song, and that's like one song. So yeah, it's just kind of really more based on inspiration, not like I need to do this. It's more like, what do I feel like writing about? Do I want to write about it? And then I'll write something and I'll scrap it, I'll try something else. So it's just kind of a trial and error kind of thing, and just yeah, it's more connected to my story rather than like just
a
pure
product that
music.
you're gonna get out. Like it sounds
Yeah,
like these songwriters are they just know that they're making a product and they're gonna get it out there. It's not that personal because they're not singing it themselves.
right, exactly. So yeah, if anything, as a singer songwriter, because I am completely independent, I have to fund everything, and like producing music, mixing it, mastering it, taking photos, like doing just the bare minimum is already so much money. So it's like you invest so much money, you want to make sure that it's like a you're happy with it, and that it's like a representation of who you are. So yeah, there's just a lot. My process is just very messy and a lot of self-criticism, a lot of trial and error, writing, erasing, trying again, leaving it to kind of air out for like a few months and then trying to go back to it. Yeah, there isn't a consistent process because I'm not always writing songs. I have like a season when I write songs, and then I won't write songs at all for like another few months, and then I'll start again.
Yeah.
I feel like that's your process though, like letting inspiration fuel your creativity.
Right. And I think it's a yeah, it's also kind of not the most efficient in a lot of ways, I will say. But I will say when emotions are high, the songs just kind of come out, it's like and I think that's kind of great because I think the past 2 years have been a very tumultuous, very chaotic kind of 2 years for me, like very life changing, huge turning point in my life. So yeah, I think in the end, when I needed it, when I was in crisis, my inspiration basically kicked in. Instead of me kind of wallowing in, all of this change and all of this chaos, I was able to kind of redirect it into my music and turn what was supposed to be a weakness into a strength. So yeah, I'm kind of
Awesome.
that's one part of my job career that I kind of am very thankful for. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I always say in my work that it's more about like quality than quantity when you do stuff like this.
Right,
So.
definitely.
Yeah. So you released a single in February this year called Habit.
Habit, yeah.
Is there Habit? Yeah. Is there any more music to look forward to later this year? I know that we were just talking
Yes.
about you go through like your seasons, but yeah, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, okay, so I have something coming out this month.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, this month, and then I'm also starting another song for the song after that. So I think I'm probably gonna release like 2 more songs this year, which is like basically record breaking. I used to do like one song per year because that's all my
Yeah,
budget allowed.
I was
Right.
looking you up on Spotify and I was listening to some of your music, which I love, but I was also like, where is the music? Like,
Yeah,
there is some out there, but like, I want more.
yeah, like it all started in 2013, and like I would release
Yeah.
like I would try to release something once a year, whether that's an EP or just like a single. But then once again, it gets expensive, and like I have
Yeah.
to keep myself alive and my dog alive now. So it's
Yeah.
like I have to be a little bit more responsible with how I spend my money. So I think, yeah, it's been kind of slow in that aspect, like, but still pretty consistent until Corona basically hit, and then everything kind of
Yeah.
came to
Yeah.
a halt. But what was good was during that time, I was also able to save some money up. And yeah, once I kind of reached that like climax turning point that I talked about, all the money that I saved up, I was like, okay, now's the timing. And
Yeah.
I just kind of poured all I had into like the past, like 3 songs that I uh, released since, or will be soon, will be 3, like Panic, Habit, and
Yeah.
then this song, and then I'm working on the one that's supposed to be released after that.
Nice.
Ooh. There's like a bit of a theme, panic, habit, like one. Ooh, sorry, I'm just whacking everything. I fling my arms around, so if I accidentally knock my computer off, which could happen, don't freak out.
Don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic. Pun not intended. There seems to be a little bit of a naming theme going on. Is that
Yeah,
intentional?
I think I wanted to focus on, so with my turning point, I think I wanted to show a completely different side. I think it was a chance to basically reinvent myself,
Yeah.
and not just to reinvent myself, but it's not necessarily reinventing myself. I guess it's reinventing my image, because I had always been me. It's just I
Mm-hmm.
picked and
Mm-hmm.
chose what parts I showed to my audience. And
Yeah.
before my turning point, I was always kind of known as like the most happy-go-lucky person, uh, and that kind of always bothered me, because I think I always grew up with anxiety. I always grew up with a lot of these deep, dark emotions that I never let anyone know, because one question would lead to another, and it all rooted basically down to me being in the closet, still being gay, and
Yeah.
even with like a partner, yet not being able to show the world, and like there were a
Right.
lot of it was very complex, but I'd not been able to show such a big part of me, and I think that turning point kind of gave me an opportunity and a window to kind of show that uh, I am a much more complex person than it seems on the outside. I struggle a lot, and I wanted to share that with them. And it was perfect, because I think the reality show that I came on, uh, they edited me very well. It was a lot worse than what you saw on there.
Okay.
But yeah, like that was like the first time I had ever been so emotionally raw in front of so many people.
Yeah.
And I was so scared of that. Before I went on the show, I was terrified. I was like, as long as I don't break down crying, I'll be completely fine. It will be a good experience. And then, lo and behold, I ended up breaking down.
Yeah.
But I think despite my fear of that, people were very receptive towards it. And if anything, as I said, it kind of opened a new window for me to share more about my mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and my journey, and just me being a little bit more transparent in where I've come from and where I'm going right now.
Yeah. What
Yeah, so
made
like
you?
basically Panic
Oh
and
yeah.
Habit, they're basically a reflection of
Yeah.
that change and that journey. So I'm focusing
Right.
on like the particular emotions, or things that I just kind of wanted to highlight those singular parts of myself that I had not been able to show. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So you mentioned the reality show. Here's
Hmm.
been too. What made you decide to go on the show? Like, because it's such a, like you've been talking, it was literally like
Yeah.
this moment of change. It's a big thing to have happened in your life. What made
Hmm.
you choose to do it?
Well, uh, basically, I'm sure you'll know if you watch the show. Before the show, I had been in a 8.5 year relationship with my ex, and yeah, we had plans of getting married. And this is not just 8.5 years of like just like dating and stuff like that. He had basically moved in with me, and we had lived together, started a family with my dog, and we would live together for like over 8 years. So it's like we were basically family at that point. And
Yeah.
basically that ended. And yeah, I was basically dumped, and it came out of nowhere. And I was basically in deep into my 30s, not and having my whole entire world to kind of just break down. I was almost ready to give up on music. like, or not give up, but like kind of
Mm.
move on. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
married. This is more, it's more about the our happiness and everything. It's all about us,
Yeah.
us. And I think that goes for him as well. We never really focused on ourselves as individuals, and we were always kind of looking at our happiness as a unit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that ended up catching up, and yeah, he ended up getting too stressed, and then he ended up, leaving to quote unquote discover himself. It's a very cliche thing, but I was completely able to understand where he
Yeah.
was coming from. And after that moment, I guess I just didn't know what to do. Like, I hadn't released a single in like or a song in such a long time. I was like non-existent on my Instagram, not posting anything, maybe like once every 3 months or so, and
Yeah.
I just been off the grid, and I just didn't know what to do, and I needed some kind of new start. I think that in my mind, that's what I thought I needed. And I remember I was talking to my friend, like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna restart my career? How am I gonna find another, partner? And I was just venting to him, and then I remember my friend was like, "Oh, you saw His Man 1, right?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." Because yeah, me and my boyfriend had actually seen that show when
Right.
it actually first aired. So
Yeah.
like, first gay dating reality
Yeah, of
show.
course
So
you
Yeah.
gotta
we have
watch
to
it.
support it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my friend was like, as a joke, he was like, "Why don't you, apply?" And I was like, "Oh, that's so funny." And then like, I think a week later, he sent me an application, and I was like, and mind you, this was like 2-3 weeks into my breakup.
Right.
Oh, oof.
So
Okay.
I was
It's
I
still
was in a
raw.
it's very raw, and
Yeah.
I don't know what came over me. I was like, oh no, but like, I'm like heading into my mid-30s,
Right.
and I don't even know if I'm a good candidate for a dating show like that, because I'm already
Yeah.
old, and like, they probably want people that are younger, and like, I don't know, I just kept making these excuses.
Yeah.
And he was like, just apply and like see what happens, and you can reject it if you down the line if you don't want to. So I was like, oh, that's true. So I just kind of applied, and I literally got a call back the next day, and then it was they wanted to meet up, have a meeting, and went through like two processes of auditions, I guess, interviews, and yeah, I just basically ended up getting chosen as one of the main cast. So yeah, basically that happened, and then I started filming 3 months in after my breakup.
I didn't realize it
And
was that.
That is brutal.
yeah, yeah,
3
I think that
months
gives a little bit
in.
more context
That gives so
into
much
my
context.
mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
3 months in, and I actually had lied to the writers because they were like, "Oh, so you came out of like such a long relationship. Are you sure that you're ready to move on?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's been like." I
Yeah.
told them, they're like, "How long has it been?" I'm like, "Oh, it's been over a year." I'm like completely fine.
Oh
That was a complete
no.
lie. It had like
Yeah.
only been a month when I was doing the interview since I had broken up,
Oh
and I
my
just
god.
yeah. And they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's great, 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 great." And
Yeah.
then I ended up going on the show, and then I was like, "What am I doing here?" And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, but I think in itself, I thought at the least, if I don't find a partner, which I wasn't too hopeful for anyways, that wasn't like the point of
Yeah.
why I went on the show. I went on the show because uh, one, I wanted practice in dating because I had not dated
Right.
anyone in such a long time. I'd been with the same partners for my entire 20s almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did not know how to put myself back out in the dating market.
I
So
feel
yeah,
that.
it was going to be practice in that aspect. And if all else fails, hopefully I would have made some, gay friends, because I also had,
Yeah.
because I was in a relationship, I had no gay friends.
Yeah.
Never had the need for them. So
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to take myself out of my comfort zone and, broaden my horizons and just try anything. And there was an element of self-sabotage as well in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
When you go through that, and I was just like being a little bit reckless, and a lot of my friends were like, "Are you
Yeah.
sure you're ready? Like, I understand what you're going through, but like, this seems
Yeah.
pretty extreme,
It's
coming
it's
fresh
like a
out of a
version.
breakup."
It's like a version of the post-breakup haircut where like,
Yeah,
you know, they say that women go from long hair to like really short hair, or someone they dye, like you dye your hair or like you bleach your hair when you come out of a breakup. You just went
Yeah.
like from
yeah.
0 to 100,
Oh
like
yeah,
a
I did
whole
the whole
other
thing too.
version.
You know,
Oh yeah,
right before I broke up,
that's true.
I had long hair. I had hair down
Oh,
to
and you
my
cut it?
shoulders. Yeah, because I had grown it out during Corona. I was like, perfect opportunity
Yeah.
to grow out your hair because you know, like long
Just try
hair on
things, yeah.
guys was kind of like a thing.
Love it.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so I had grown it out for 2 years, and then I just cut it all off.
Cut it all off.
And
Yeah.
then they were like, why don't you try cutting it even shorter? I think it'll make you look even more fresh and young. And I was like, okay. And I just chopped it all off and went on the
Oh my
show.
god. Yeah, oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it was yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
but I think also, you know, in my mind, I was like, I'm already at my lowest, so there's no way.
How low can I go?
Yeah, how low can
Like
I
you
go?
can't,
You know,
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
there's nothing more that the world can throw at me that will like take me down even lower. And long and behold, I
Yeah.
go on the show, and I think it gave
Oh.
me a humble reality check, and I was like, oh yeah, I could go a lot lower,
Yeah.
a
Oh.
lot lower, because you know, mind you, I went on the show thinking, you know, maybe you know things will work out, and maybe I'll get some love calls and everything, and it'll be a rehabilitation in my pride, and
Yeah.
maybe you know all this insecurity that I have about myself, about my age, about my looks,
Oh.
will all be debunked once I go on there. And then I go on there, everything bad happens. I never get called. I never get chosen once. And then I have, you know, and then I think I made a friend, but then we have a falling out, and then I have a breakdown on TV and like for everyone to see. And then,
Yeah.
you know, I think during that time, like, you know, that was a point where for the first time I was like, oh my gosh, like I actually think I miss my ex now.
Oh wow,
This is,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you know for the longest time I was just like shove down, shove down, shove down, and like, you know,
Push your feelings down and it just all bubbled
right, this is a
over
new
in this
beginning,
moment. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you don't need to process anything, just like, you know, this is a new start, embrace it. And
Yep.
then I basically had a complete meltdown in the middle of the show, and it just kind of all came out at once. And once you kind of open the
Yeah.
floodgates, like you just kind of can't stop. So I
Yeah.
think after that first falling out and then breakdown, like I was crying like every day until the end of the show. And they cut a lot of it out,
Yeah.
probably because it would make me look even more sad and more depressed.
Yeah.
And yeah, but thankfully, once again, I think although it was a very low point for me, it kind
Mm.
of set me up for the next stage of my life. So I think, in essence, it was kind of a necessary evil. I don't want to call it
Mm.
evil, but a necessary lesson for me to kind of go
Yeah.
through to kind of evolve, I guess.
Yeah. What's the biggest lesson you took from his man too? Like if you could just drill it down to like one thing, what do you
Hmm.
think was the biggest lesson?
I think it was,
It's a big question. So even
you
if you can't
know,
answer it.
I no, I think I realized a lot of things. I think I realized how much I had been pent up for one, and I realized how much
Mm.
vulnerability can go in terms of, you know, receptiveness in not just my friends, but also because a lot of my friends were like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen you so like vulnerable before." And
Yeah.
mind you, during my 8.5 year relationship, as I said on the show, I never cried once in that 8.5 year relationship. You
Yeah,
know, I just come
wow,
from a
yeah.
very like a family where, you know, we all kind of shove our emotions and we talk logic. We
Yeah.
talk emotions, we break it down and we talk about it, but we never express it. And
Mm.
I think it was, I just kind of, yeah, finally was able to release that final, I guess, uh, barrier that had been holding me back emotionally. And yeah, like I think I learned to process my emotions, and uh, I first learned to let it out, and then I learned to kind of process it and, you know, like be
Yeah.
a little bit more middle ground and not emotional mess
Yeah.
all the time. But yeah,
Yeah.
that end, I think I also, another lesson I learned was uh, while we were filming, we were basically in this small little village It was just, there were a lot of little houses that the staff were in, and then we were in the main big house. And everywhere we go would be, usually, for the most part, it would just, all our dates would be places that were rented out, so they'd be empty for the most part. And
Yeah.
it was always a safe environment, and all of the staff were very supportive. And I think that was the first time in my life I realized how it felt to kind of not look around and be like, oh my gosh, like, do people know we're gay?
Right.
And it just gave us a safe space. And I think I never realized how important that was, to feel safe and to feel like you can be yourself, with your loved one or the person that you're dating, and freely, and how you're encouraged even to show more affection. Like, oh, you want to hold hands? No, please hold hands. Better for TV, obviously. So they would constantly encourage us to interact and like get closer
Yeah.
and even get romantic with each other. So it's like it was just this whole new kind of world open, that I had not known was possible. But through the show, I kind of grew accustomed to that. And I think now I have like higher standards for guys and for,
Yeah.
the environment around me. I want
Mm-hmm.
that for myself. I want my
Yeah.
partner to not be too scared of showing their emotions. And I want something more. And I realize that that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's such a lovely lesson to have learned. And something that you can like apply in
Hmm.
your life now. Like it's actually something that
Right.
has enriched your life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I guess like a little bit of a not a pivot, but it's like going from a little bit heavy to or maybe a little bit fun, but like with the series came a whole new level of popularity, I guess you could say, and like a lot more eyes on you,
Hmm.
and a lot more interest in your music. Like, was that something that you expected to happen? That like potentially your music would, I don't know, there'd just be a little bit more like popularity with it.
Right. I think, okay, so that's also true and not true at the same time.
Okay.
And I'll explain. Like, I
Yeah.
think there's so much people after I started. The show blew up a lot more than any of us thought it would,
Yeah.
because we all saw season one, and like, yeah, that was like kind of our baseline, and we were like, oh, season two is probably not going to do as well because that was like the first of its kind, and we're just kind of like
Yeah.
riding off the backs of that. So we didn't have quite as high expectations. If anything, I think, like, at least for me, I was like, okay, this is just kind of a testing kind of thing, and like, even if I'm a complete mess, it will be okay because like it's not like a super popular show. And then, like, it's like ended up
Yeah, then it blew
being
up.
very popular. Yeah, and then it blew up, to my surprise. But yeah, I think with that attention, you would think that people would be a lot more interested in me, and they are a lot more interested in my music. But for the most part, they're a lot more interested in my life more so than my
Mm,
music in itself. My music is a part of that, but they're just more interested in me as a person, if that makes sense.
yeah.
And like, I always get, and they're always so supportive, but most of the support comes from like, like, how are you doing? Are you dating anyone? Are you
Yeah.
happy? Like, that's the one that everyone, like, after that image that I
Yeah.
set up for myself. I mean, I didn't set it up, but like, that was shown to the public. Everyone's
Yeah.
always like, are you okay? Are you doing okay? Like, I want happiness
Yeah.
for you. And like, just get floods of those kinds of messages, and everyone just wants to
Still?
see. Yeah, still.
Wow, okay.
uh I get long, 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 long messages of people, and who are able to actually relate to me on such a deeper
Yeah.
level. And yeah, I think that kind of ended up working out for the better, because I think that pushes me to add more elements of my songs, of my life into my songs. I can let my songs be more transparent because people want to know what's going on and not see a curated version of me. They want to see the real raw version of me. And
Yeah.
uh, even like when I've been casually doing YouTube nowadays, even the videos that I do there, like, rather than more music oriented, they like content where I'm a little bit more vulnerable, and I talk about my 8-year relationship and how I've been moving on, or how dating life has been. So yeah, I think the interest has shifted a lot more towards just me in general as a person, than my music. But musically, I think definitely it's given it a huge boost as well. Uh, but yeah, and a lot of them, they're always asking, when are you going to start touring again? And
Yeah.
I am kind of waiting till I release maybe like an EP, like maybe a few more songs, and then package it into an album and then tour with that.
Yeah.
So I do have a tour and everything like prepared. It's just, it's going to take a little bit more time to write a few more songs and to get that out there. But yeah, I'm just always thankful for everything that's been happening, and all the support that's been given in any aspect of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say that's like your overall favorite thing to have come out of your time on Yes Man too? Like that connection with people?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was also, it's constantly work in itself and a journey to be vulnerable. And because being vulnerable when you've lived in the closet for like 30 years of your life,
Yeah.
it's not easy. And I'm trying to find this boundary of protecting my personal life as well, but also being vulnerable and honest with all the people who are expecting me to be vulnerable and honest. So I think uh one thing my friend said after my breakup was like, not a lot of people get a second chance at reinventing their whole entire life and flipping their life around and just starting new. A lot of us get caught up
Yeah.
in the whole like same cycle, like same partner, same job. And they're constantly just, stuck in this loop, and it's hard to get out of there. And it's not until like you go into a crisis where you really have an opportunity to break that all down and start anew. And that's what I was basically doing after the show. And it took a lot of practice, like it took reaching out. I reopened my Twitter account, which had been, I had not even touched for the longest time, because I started it in like 2000 like 13. I think like 2012 2011 I started my Twitter,
Yeah.
and then I just didn't touch it for the longest time, and I was like, maybe I'll start and try it. And then I started
Yeah.
talking, and I was like, oh, I want to watch some more anime. Does anyone have any like suggestions? And then they kept suggesting me like BLs and animes, like BL animes, like more BLs. And I was just like, now that I think about it, I've never watched a BL. Like I've watched a few, but it had always been such a private thing that I almost felt
Right.
like I needed to be embarrassed about, right? Like I need to shut the
Yeah.
door and like, just kind of
Yeah.
go in the secrecy of my room and like watch it,
Yeah.
But when I thought about it, I was like, why do I need to hide that? Like if a lot of people are,
Right.
like they're suggesting me these BLs to watch, I was like, maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll learn something new about myself, and maybe, I'll do some, commentary on my Twitter. So like I watched a few BLs. Eighth Sense was my first one. The Eighth Sense, yeah.
Nice.
And
Good start.
I watched it, and I was like doing live Twitter reactions, like not videos, but like just commentary.
Tweeting.
And
Yeah.
they
With friends,
loved it. They were like, oh my
Right.
gosh. And they kept suggesting me more. And then the next one I watched was like Pungdok. And then
Yeah.
that just ended up, taking me down a long, long, long journey of
Down the rabbit hole.
self-discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joke about it, but I'm completely dead serious when I tell you that like Twitter, me watching BLs, me learning to fanboy again, which I had always kept a secret from
Right.
when I was in my teens, and I never got to really go through that experience. It was such a healing journey for me, and I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about my preferences, and like what kind of love that I want, what I want in my next partner, and just having the discussions with all of the other people who watch me react to these BLs, and having the conversation and like the discourse about like what's going on and how we feel about it. It's been such an eye-opening experience. So yeah, like it's I've been doing Twitch for about a little less than a year. but we've already watched like 26, 27 BL series. Yeah, on stream, and
Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
and that's like some of them. There are like multiple seasons too, so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched quite a lot, and yeah, my weekends have been basically dedicated towards that, and it's been
Yeah.
a wild journey. Thought I was only gonna start in Korean BLs, but then we ended up trying to give like Thai BLs a chance, and that opened up like a whole new world.
Oof. Yeah.
And then Japanese BLs, Taiwanese
Mhm.
BLs, and like
Yeah.
yeah, all of them are so different.
Uh-huh.
But I thoroughly enjoyed all of them, and
Mhm.
they've definitely take such a large part of my identity and my life now. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that yeah, I'm like it almost feels like an accomplishment for me, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Coming
I
mean,
from a
feel
closeted boy in Ohio to a person who like like just watches BLs and like
yeah.
streams it and like talks
Lives his
about
life
it,
on the
and
internet, talks
yeah,
about BL.
I
Yeah.
love it. It's been such a safe space for me, and yeah.
yeah, I think like BL has been there to like a lot of people to discover their sexuality and be more comfortable in it and all of that. Those are like stories that come out a lot from fans who watch BL,
Right.
and I think it's
And
great.
I think
Like,
I,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, I think also I definitely relate to the community aspect of
Mm-hmm.
BL. So,
Mm.
like, when I was a teenager, I've told this story before, so I'll tell like a really short version. But when I was a teenager, I discovered K dramas, and
Oh,
and in Australia, that is just, at least when I was a teenager, not a thing. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't watch that. That was not something that you would see on TV. I had
Mm-hmm.
to like illegally download these shows, hoping that I didn't download a virus onto my computer just to watch them.
Yep.
And I loved K dramas. And then
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it, it was
right.
literally just something that I watched myself. No one knew that I watched it. I didn't talk to anyone about it.
Yep.
And then I kind of like, when I discovered BL, that was also something that I was just watching by myself. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
anyone to talk to about it. I didn't know like how to find the communities. And I kind of pretty much did the same thing, jumped on Twitter, started to actually reach out a little bit. This is when I
Right.
was a bit like when I was in my later or mid to late 20s. So I'd already been watching it for like 10-ish years, maybe a little bit less. And
Mm.
then
Mm-hmm.
I started to kind of reach out a little bit more. I made one or two friends, and then I kind of fell into this love cast thing. And that's when it just like my entire community of who I can engage with and connect with just expanded, like just
Right.
like that. And it's been such a beautiful journey to find and connect with people who love the
Mm-hmm.
same things I love and are excited about the same things that I'm
Mm.
excited about, and
Yep.
also find um, different people to talk to and different people to interact with and to hear different people's stories,
Mm-hmm.
and through that learn more things about myself and be comfortable with certain things about myself and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
not bury certain things and not like just ignore certain things. And so
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah, that community aspect is so important.
Oh yeah, 100%. I so relate to that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I always say that this podcast have sort of been like the most effective therapy I've ever had.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Pixie works a lot out on Lovecast.
A lot.
Sometimes our episodes are like we record for 3 hours because Pixie's like, I've got a lot to say and I need to work it out now. Yeah.
Hey, that's all practice. All this is saving us like $300 a week in
Right?
therapy. So
Right.
Yeah.
our form of therapy.
Definitely. Oh my god. So all right. Well, now that we're in like the let's talk about BL realm, I want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know
yeah.
like what's been your favorite BL to watch so far? Like we got to get right
Oh.
in.
So okay, here's the thing, right? it's so funny because like back in the early last year, I'd always be like, oh, I'm just a BL baby, you know, like don't
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this, I'm not ready for that, and like, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know what I consider myself now, but after like 27 BLs, like, you know, I
Yeah,
feel like I have
not
a
a
good
baby anymore.
You're not a baby
understanding.
anymore.
Yeah,
You're a
yeah, yeah.
toddler.
I'm like at the point where I'm like, okay, maybe we can go a little bit more hardcore. Maybe like touch upon
Oh.
like maybe try only friends or like, you know, because we had a
Mhm.
few. It's hilarious. We have our own inside jokes. There's three. It was like only friends, Kin Porsche, and
Yeah.
oh gosh, what's the why gosh, why can't I think of the title? The Omegaverse one. The racing.
Oh,
Babe.
Pit Babe?
Pit Babe.
Yeah.
Those three are the ones that I get requested the most on like a daily basis. And I'm not just
Right.
talking
Yep.
about like you should watch it, you should watch it. Like no, that's like a given. People like will make videos for me to watch personally on why I need to
Uh-huh.
watch
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
those shows.
Mm-hmm.
And for obvious
They want
reasons,
the
some of them I can't watch
spice.
because
Yeah.
I'll probably get like banned on Twitch or something. But yeah, but I'm like
Mhm.
okay, I feel like I have a good understanding of all these like different types of BLs, so I'm
Mhm.
exploring a little bit more into like the more intense side, seeing how that does. And if I don't feel comfortable, maybe I'll like go back to it. But since my taste has evolved so much, I'm not
Mhm.
sure if any of my old time favorites are my
Mhm.
favorites anymore. And I'm
Right.
starting to doubt,
Mm.
are the BLs that I watched in the beginning not as good as I thought they were? Because, you know, I was just a baby back then and I had not
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
experienced the world. And
Mhm.
yeah, so I just have a lot of doubt. But like a long time ago, I was 100% sure that To My Star was going to be like
Ooh.
my number one, like season
Yeah.
1 and 2, that they were gonna
Yes.
that they were gonna be my number one like life BL drama.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was just like I remember I said to all of the viewers, I'm like, I've reached my peak. This is a peak. I think I'm
I
finished.
agree.
Like I can,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
It
nothing
can't get
left
better.
for me to
There's nothing better.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now, almost like you know,
You're
like
not sure.
a year down the road, I'm not sure
Mhm.
anymore because I've seen
Yeah.
so many solid BLs that are like
Yeah.
just as good, if
Yeah.
not better.
Yeah.
So I want to say To My Star, but I have to.
Mhm.
I a lot of them
I
said
under-
like you should probably revisit it to see.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, and I agree. Like, if you put To My Star up against a lot of other BLs and just like put them fighting against each other, it might not. To My Star will probably not win. But
Yeah.
but the reason why To My Star is always at the top for me is because of how the experience I had when I was watching it.
Mm,
So even
that's so
if I
important.
go back now and watch it and have a different like the nostalgia and just like the emotions I had when I was watching it, it makes it at the top of my list no matter.
It's such a personal experience.
Yeah.
Like you can give me the best rated BL in the world, but if I'm not in the mood to watch that genre
Mhm.
specifically, it just might not hit. Where you might give me like a mid BL drama and I'm really in the mood for it, all of
Yeah.
a sudden like it can become like S tier, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's really personal.
Yes.
So yeah, I still do want to revisit it. I
Yeah.
think the ones that I want to revisit are like I want to revisit Ace Tense, I want to revisit To My
Mhm.
Star,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
maybe Pungdok, but I'm thinking it might not be a good idea. Because I feel like Pungdok,
Yeah.
I might want to leave that as kind of like the oh yeah, back then I was young
I
and
loved
it
it
was so
then.
good
Yeah,
and like
yeah, I
best
think
kiss
so.
ever, like you know.
Oh.
I'll
Yeah.
just
But
leave
Actors
that as
are
a.
great. The
I don't want
actors
to
are
taint
great.
it. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
taint it.
The story
So-
is questionable if you start
the
thinking
story
about it,
doesn't
but
story, but the
It-
visuals are visually.
the visuals
So
are
true.
fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so I always said I was gonna make a tier list, but I'm also deathly scared. I know it's
Yeah,
my
right.
opinion, but like because
Yeah.
people are so attached to some of these, like
Mm,
they'll be like, "How
Mm.
dare you put this series like at a B tier?" You know, it's like.
Yeah.
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 But I think so far my top three
Mhm.
are To My Star,
Uh-huh.
Bad Buddy,
Mm.
and To My Star, Bad Buddy, and probably Love for Love's Sake.
Ooh, yes.
I think
Okay.
I
those
didn't expect
three
that one, but
those
yes.
three are currently my top three.
Yeah.
It's a good list.
Yeah.
Love that. That's a good list.
Mhm.
That's a good top three. I'm very much like you in that I'll love something hard and then something else will come along and I'll be like, don't know if I loved you as much as I now love this new thing.
Right.
But there are a few, at least for me, that I like Pixie was saying, where you've got that nostalgia or like you just remember how you felt while you were watching it. That just like it keeps in my top, and Bad Buddy is one of those that stays in like my top
Oh.
list usually. Yeah, I loved and still love Bad Buddy, and like I consume so much Pat fanfic, like fan fiction. It's like a problem. And
I mean,
I scream about this one fic all the time. That's like, if you're not ready for a megaverse, you're not ready for this fic. But like, it is so good. I'm grinning because I love it so much. It is so good. I will 100% send it to you if you want to see it later. But like, it's so good.
I completely understand though. Like Pat Brad, like their chemistry,
Ooh.
like
Yeah.
unmatched. They had
Yeah.
great
Like,
chemistry,
Enemies
and
to
obviously,
Lovers.
you know, we all know that it's never gonna happen again for you know some reasons. So I understand the quote unquote
Yeah.
obsession
Latching on and not
or
wanting to let
latching
go.
on
Yeah.
to fan fiction if you have to. You know, it's like
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
I love fanfic, so I'm not even ashamed that I just read so much fanfic. It's ridiculous, but yeah.
No, same. Oh yeah. Now mine is My Star and Only Friends.
really
I am obsessed with Only
Pixie
Friends.
loves.
Good
I
to
love the
know.
mess. It's so
Yeah.
messy.
good to know.
It is fantastic, and the visuals and like the aesthetic of the show, like the
Right.
colors, the fashion, everything is just
So
on point.
I told you about like the holy trinity of like not that was
Yeah.
on the list, but then
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a joke they were like, how about for the next BO that we want to watch, we watch a few trailers, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they were recommending all these trailers to watch, and I watched a bunch of trailers, and then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, because I know I'm not gonna watch the trinity that we picked,
Yeah.
I'll just watch the trailers so that I'll know what it's about, and you guys will. And then when I watched the Only Friends one, I was like, why does this kind of look good?
It's
so good.
And-
It's so good.
I was like, do I want to watch it now? But then like I kept having to ask people, and I kept having to ask my moderator as well.
Yeah.
I was like, just because she makes sure that everything's stream appropriate for the most part,
Yeah.
and
It's
like
probably not stream appropriate.
There are some scenes that.
So
Yeah.
she said obviously it's not it right on a border. She's like it's not to the point that you'll get banned because there's so many BLs that are way worse.
Oh, yeah.
So it might seem mild compared to those, but the reason that it's like I guess quote unquote infamous for some people is because it is such a mess, like drama wise.
Yeah.
So but then at the same time, as long as it's a mess, as long as I'm expecting it to be a mess, I'm like, it should be okay. So it's on my list currently. I just don't know when I'm gonna find the courage to actually start it. But...
It's 100% like the best kind of mess. And we interviewed the director too, P. Jojo.
Oh yeah.
And like his vision for everything is fantastic. Like they really went into this and just said, we're gonna make this like the most gay, messy thing ever.
Right. And I think even while going deeper into Thai BLs in general, like it just made me want to watch it more because the first the first Thai BL I watched was Moonlight Chicken, and I remember I saw Cow, and then I was like, he was just such this innocent boy, and I remember I saw him in the trailer, and I was like,
you're
Oh.
not gonna think of him as innocent anymore if you watch Only Friends.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Nah,
And then there's
the
also
second
Mark.
you see his
Yeah,
tattoo,
Mark. Oh,
So those two
Mark.
were the ones where I was like,
yeah,
they're always painted as such like this, like very nice, like in my mind at the moment, they're just this very
Yeah.
pure, nice people.
Innocent.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, innocent, and I just kind of want to see that alter ego of them,
oh,
and
yeah.
I want to see that messy part of them because I think it will be very enjoyable to watch them completely transform. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Their
yeah,
acting,
that kind of added to my want for my
Yeah.
curiosity for Only Friends.
It's
Yeah.
so good. I was
It's like
obsessed watching it.
the acting in it
Yeah.
is insane. Like
Okay.
those boys really like went in on
Hmm.
their characters
Yeah.
and like they gave it 110%.
Mhm.
It's something that it's very different to what we've seen in Thai BL previously, and there have
Yep.
been quite a few shows in the past, I guess like 12 months that have really like stepped up what Thai BL looks like, and
Yeah.
Only
Right.
Friends is definitely in that level. And it's just to see
Hmm.
the GMMTV boys acting this strongly, I
Mhm.
think as like fans of BL, and I guess fans who have kind of watched the rise of GMMTV
Mhm.
and the rise of Thai BL, like it was so satisfying.
Hmm.
It was such a satisfying show.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's
Oh
also lots of
man.
other parts of it that aren't that satisfying, but like overall, it's really good. We're selling it. We're like, come on, you gotta
Yeah,
watch
you
it.
you guys are selling it. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, I haven't met other people who have said like, oh yeah, you need to watch it. They're like, I think you should watch it, but like,
Nah,
I haven't
mate,
met
you
people who are
need
like,
to.
this is in my top 3. You know?
It will
Yeah.
change your life, and there's like this great like therapy storyline as well of they're working through their messes, and it's just so good. And I'm so obsessed. I actually made one of my friends that haven't watched BL before watch it with me. It was interesting.
Was that their first BL that they watched?
Oh,
that's
no.
that's like when people tell me that the first BL or like the first BL or the first Thai BL that they watch is Kin Porsche, and I'm like, oh, you've jumped right in. Okay, all right, good luck.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
see you on the other
like,
side.
No, but she
yeah.
did like it. Like she it was like it was different for her because she hasn't watched any shows outside of like American or Norwegian shows before.
Hmm.
So watching an Asian show was new to her as well. But I think I don't know. There's something about the Norwegian culture that just like watching messes on TV. So I think that it was
You must love
right up
reality
her
TV.
alley.
You must really love reality TV in Norway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you
So-
have to see it. And I mean, it's a great show to react to as well because there's so much you can have opinions on without it being spoon-fed to you. Like there's gray areas. Like there's a lot of gray areas and there's a lot of people on different sides of the take. But yeah, it's great for like doing it as a community thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Because I think when I think of Thai BLs, like Japanese, Taiwanese, and Korean BLs, they all have elements that they're the best at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they always,
Absolutely.
with the part that they're the best at, there's also the opposite side where, they're clearly lacking because of budget and because of like, mainstreamness and yeah. But, like Thai BLs, they've been doing it for the longest time and like, they've always delivered on the chemistry, the character building, all of that. They've always excelled at more so than any other country. But sometimes the quality can be a little bit wonky. Like the mics, it picks up like
Especially
random
the
stuff. Like
sound, yeah.
yeah, like I'll be watching a beach scene and like these seagulls will be like yapping and like yelling, and I can barely hear what they say. And there's wind in the mic, and like it's just like, man, did they not like prepare for this, or just like
just do it in
without
post, like
fail.
re-recorded or like
exactly. Like there's so many parts where like Korean or Japanese ones might be a little bit more refined, but then they're also lacking the depth that Thai BLs have. So I've always been like, oh, I just wish we could just like kind of mix those together
Yeah.
and make like one epic BL that just is an all rounder. And
Mm-hmm.
Love for Love's Sake was kind of that all rounder for me.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, but yeah, like I think when I watched the Only Friends trailer, I was like, this is the quality that I've been craving in Thai BLs.
100%.
So if it's what I think it is in my head, then I think I will like it. But I guess we'll have to cross the bridge to see.
Have you watched any of the Taiwanese BLs?
Yes. So I watched We Best Love, and also watched History 3 Trapped.
Oh, damn it!
Great
I was
choice.
hoping you would
Great
say Make Our Days
choice.
Count, because it's like my favorite.
Which one? Which one was your favorite?
Or History 3 Make Our Days Count.
Oh. Wait, is Make Our Days Count
like
is different, right?
Yeah. So it's
Than Trapped.
it's different than Trapped, but it's like it
Two different
was
shows.
released in the same little anthology thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so Make Our Days Count is angsty. It's very, very angsty.
I hate the ending.
It's a lot of people.
You
I don't know
either
if you've
hate
heard
it or you love
before.
it. That's
Ask
just
your chat. Ask your chat when you're streaming about Make Our Days Count. They will have very strong reactions.
Yeah.
Someone
Once
tricked
again,
me to watch it without telling me what the ending was, and I was so mad. I was so mad.
But it's so good, Pixie.
I
It's so good.
I'm traumatized. Okay.
I was
Oh,
traumatized
no,
at the
okay.
beginning, but
Trigger
I love
warnings,
it
okay.
so much. It's but it's so good. It's so good.
It is good though. Like
okay.
it's a good show. Like I've always said to people, like if it was me, if someone gave me the choice, I would watch the first 9 episodes and just not watch the last episode. Then it would be perfect for
You
me.
need the last episode. You need that last. I'm on like one side of the fence and like Pixie's on the other, and this is literally showing you how the fans react, and it's people like me where you're like, you have to watch the last episode. You need the trauma.
The trauma is part of the experience.
Yeah, the trauma is part of the experience. It makes you love the story even more. And then there's people on Pixie's side of the fence who are like, the last episode never happened. They lived happily ever after. The end.
Oh, man.
The end. The end.
But no, Trapped. So Trapped, another favorite.
Yeah.
Another favorite of ours. That's such a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed. I enjoyed both. I think I liked We Best Love a little bit more.
The angst.
Yeah, just the angst and like the acting and
Yeah.
I still think We Best Love was probably one of the best what do you call it, confession scenes that I've ever seen on the bridge.
Agree.
Like still
Yeah.
lives rent free in my mind. Every BL like does something really, like there's always something very memorable, even if I hated it. Like I really didn't like and like this is a hot take, but I really didn't like what is it, the Cherry Blossoms After Winter.
I agree. Alexa is gonna hate you. Alexa is gonna freak out. I agree. I didn't like it either.
I didn't like it, but it still had its most memorable parts. And for me, the most memorable part was when they shared that cream bread. I was like, I just gasped, and I was like, oh my gosh! And like that was the peak of the show, and then it just kind of went for me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would say otherwise. They were like, oh my gosh, no, it's like one of the best, and like I'm just like, okay.
That's the best part of this, though. Like, people have different opinions, and they love certain things in shows and certain shows for all different reasons. And we can have discussions like this, which is fun.
Right,
and like, as long as you stay respectful and you don't just like shit all over other people's opinions, it's fun.
Right. Yeah,
Exactly,
we have a lot of fun. Like usually we have like something we call March Madness, where we do this whole bracket thing and we discuss which are gonna go in which bracket. And all 4 of us discussing that is total madness because we do not agree.
I can imagine. But I can also understand if some like a series is good, but it just didn't
speak.
that spot for me
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you know, like Blooming for me, I understood that it was a masterpiece,
Yeah.
like artistic, greatly shot, great storyline, but just in the stage of the life that I was in when I watched it, I wasn't able to appreciate it as much as
Same.
like To My Star or any
Same.
like
Yeah.
or you know, Bad Buddy, for instance. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just that comes down to luck a lot of the times, you know,
Yeah.
just like you know.
Yeah.
But that's the charm of it, I feel like, you know, just kind of
Yeah.
watching these BLs at whatever given time in your life stage
Yeah.
and having those different reactions.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you
Right
watch
now,
Fighting-
I'm completely obsessed with Only Boo that is airing from GMM TV. Like, I don't like fluffy shows normally, but I'm so obsessed.
I can't wait for episodes to come out, so I need to wait till like they end,
can binge it.
and
Yeah.
I
And
need to
then
binge
binge.
it at once.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to ask this because before we move on, you were talking about We Best Love. Did you watch Fighting Mr. Second, the second season of We Best Love?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know
Okay.
that had a different name, but yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Saw the
I
second
think it was We
season.
Best Love and Fighting Mr. Second or something. Yeah.
Like, I was like, after season 1, I was like, oh, what a great series. And they're like, did you watch it? Like, they're like, no, stop.
No.
You need to watch the ending and the cliffhanger. And I was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I was like, and they're no, just like, watch. And I remember watching it and feeling so betrayed and so confused. And then, you know, I was like, okay, well, now I have to watch the second season. And then
Yes.
went into it and
Amazing. So you were kind of talking about before how you wanted to like make your own Frankenstein like BL where you could like pull different parts of BLs from different countries to like make your own like one big BL. If you could actually create your own BL, what would your plot look like?
Ooh, okay, first of all, I know that it would not be set in high school because I've seen way too many high school BLs and I'm sick of it as, you know, a person in their 30s.
Same.
I want adults. I want real adults with real adult emotions that are complex, and I say that, but then at the same time when I watched Moonlight Chicken, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is a reflection of literally all of the trauma that I went through and all of my insecurities. I don't want to see that directly on the screen.
It's not
and
a
I hated
fantasy
him.
anymore.
Yeah, too real.
Yeah,
Take it back.
It's too real, and that's why during Moonlight Chicken, I hated the main character, and I was just
Really?
he was so frustrating. But then deep down, I knew
Yeah.
that this is exactly what I do to myself.
Yeah.
To you know, like, oh, you're not deserving of love, and like yada yada yada, and like that's why in Moonlight Chicken I was hyper focused on what is it? I forget their names, character names, but Gemini and Fourth's character.
Hart and Li Ming, yeah.
So like I was like focused on them, latched onto them. Everyone else, I was like, oh, you can do whatever you want. I'm just and then them. You know, and I ended up going down that hole of like, you know, just going down their love story in different series. My School President.
Oh,
waiting for love their version of Love Mix Up.
Yeah.
As well. So it's, but you know, once again, their chemistry is also unmatched, but I'm kind of done with that high school theme now. And I want to move on to, they're gonna be adults. Yeah, they can be like late 20s into early 30s. And let's see. I've kind of been liking the time travel and time skip kind of thing.
Yes.
I've liked that element. I've always liked that element. Recently nowadays, loved it in Love for Love's Sake.
Did you watch?
So I think
Be My Favorite.
Be My Favorite? Is that another series?
Yeah, it's a
I haven't watched that one
show.
Oh no, I haven't watched that one yet.
It's good.
It's got
a lot of time traveling.
It's got time stuff.
Oh, okay. So like, I think time travel is cool, or maybe like a isekai kind of moment. I love isekais.
Okay.
Like, so whatever it is, I just like them to be. I think I like it when they're kind of taken to a
new place,
familiar yet unfamiliar place where they have a new chance at something.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
got
they
that.
have to be, the main character would have to be going through like a meltdown.
Of course. Of course.
Have a meltdown, like, I don't know, maybe they're, like, they're just like, what's the point of life anyway? And like, I'm giving up on love. And then all of a sudden, like, they're isekai, or like they're time skipping, or rewinding and going back to the past to fix something, or like change their
Yeah.
destiny.
Mm.
I love those kind
Yeah.
of BLs.
This sounds like one of the fan fictions I wrote when I was like 16.
No,
Yeah.
I love it.
I love
And I think I think I would also like to keep it more central to one couple, because like I think I've seen places where they're able to split it up and like break down different couples and like make it all cohesive, but a lot of times I find that having too many other characters and other love storylines ended up taking away from the main one for me.
Right.
Yeah.
When done right, it can be very beautiful, but when
Yep.
it's done wrong, you just kind of want to skip
Yeah.
Yeah.
the parts, if
Yep.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I am okay with multiple love interests, or multiple like going
Like a
through
love
your
triangle.
little harem of guys,
Okay.
and they're all trying to like get to you, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm not used to all this attention, and like
Yeah. But please give me more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
you probably do some questionable things, because who wouldn't, if you had all these hot guys that are
Obviously.
constantly giving you attention.
Literally.
I feel like anyone would kind of fold and be like, oh,
You don't know until you've kissed at least once.
yeah, so
Like,
let me kiss
don't
you,
know
let me kiss
anything.
you, see how I
Yeah,
feel
right.
about it, even though
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I something along those lines. And yeah, I think
like having a BL with a harem would be so interesting, because there literally no harems in BL right now, because they're so hyper fixated on just having one couple. That
Right.
is,
We've
like,
got no poly, no harem. We need
Exactly.
those.
that's why, like, just yesterday, I finished Choco Milkshake.
it's so cute.
So cute.
It's
But
so
when I
cute.
watched it, I was like, there's no way that, first of all, I'm pretty sure the person who wrote this show,
Yeah.
one, is not gay, and two, has never actually had to raise a pet by themselves. They probably had a family pet, but I'm pretty sure that they did not have a pet themselves. Just the way they wrote things, I was just like, But one thing that I wish the show changed, and people will disagree on disagree. This is a hot take, but I wish that Milk the cat
Yeah.
was. I wish that his attention was more directed towards the MC, the main character.
I agree.
Because because I'm saying this because as a pet owner, you when you have pets, you love all of them. Like you love different things about them, but you love all of them. But for me, it seemed like they try to make this cat like this independent cat, and like finding its own, like a lot of cats do, but it just felt like the main character was playing favorites and just kind of only showing attention towards the dog and being like, you're independent, so you can do whatever. And it kind of took away. I was like, no, that's not how cat lovers that I know would feel about their cats. It's just very different. They show they show love in different ways, and I wish that they focused on that. And like the cat is also in love with the human, but he shows his affection in different ways. While the dog is more forward, the cat is more in the background doing damage control, but in the end would be like so uncomfortable. He's like, why aren't you showing me love like you show the dog love? Because I'm in love with you too. And it could have been this whole moment, but I feel like they just kind of
sort of chickened out on the whole threesome aspect of it.
Yeah, but like if you're going down that route anyways, it's already pretty weird. But if we're gonna do it, might as well commit.
Might
and, like,
as well go
right.
I was like, what kind of owner only? This is a little weird, but like what kind of owner? If you're gonna like there are a lot of things. I'm like, if you're gonna chew off the whipped cream from his lips, you might as well have licked it to make it a little bit more accurate. Or when you pet, no one just pets your dog like this, you know? It's like no one just does that.
No.
You scratch behind the
Like little
ears,
ears.
On the
Yeah.
butt.
you give
Yeah.
belly
Little butt
rubs, and then you
pats.
get the butt pats, and like, where is
Yeah.
all of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are
Yeah.
dogs that literally will like, you know, like turn around and being like, give me butt pats, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
Mine
why
does
wasn't
all the
that a
time.
thing, you know? That could have
Yeah.
been like a very weird but cute, very
Cute,
dog-like moment to kind of, you
Mhm.
know, incorporate it to the show. So I was like, so many moments that, you know, was missed,
Mhm.
that could have made this like a solid S tier show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe if I had my own BL, maybe I would just redo that in my own way. Yeah, I feel very strongly about this now because I have my dog.
Yeah.
I feel like I could write a solid
Yeah.
pet turning into human love storyline.
Okay.
Yeah. I get it. Like I have a cat and a dog, so I get both of those interactions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. This is the moment that you decide to start writing fanfic, and you're going to write "Fix It Fixed" Choco Milk.
Milkshake fanfic.
Yeah.
Dude, I
But this
would read
happens.
it.
This happens more often than like this happens so often because you know. Let's be honest. Sometimes there are a lot of plot holes in these BLs,
Mhm.
Yeah.
from the lack of episodes or just
Yeah.
lack of budget or they were just sloppy with it.
Or bad written. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, why could they not just do this? And a lot of times during
Mhm.
stream, I'll just
Mhm.
write. I'll just be like, he should have done this, 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 and then they
Yeah.
could have done this and added this, and then it would have been like flawless.
Mhm.
You know, and like
Yeah.
everyone's like, hey, maybe you should write a fan fiction or something,
Yeah.
or like maybe you should start your own. And I was like, oh, maybe I should. Like, I feel like I could write
Maybe
something.
you should.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
You
have
know a
the
lot of
like creative soul to
authors who could
write,
help.
so like you could write fan fiction. Easy.
Yeah, I feel like if I remember when I was in high school, I was actually
Mm.
thinking of going into art instead of music.
Mm-hmm.
And because I love to draw and I did like
Yeah.
art lessons, I did like painting and everything, and I was
Mm.
obsessed with like anime, manga,
Yeah.
manhwa. And yeah, I remember I was writing my own manga, manhwa,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I was like pretty committed to it. I was drawing every page and like writing a
Oh, wow.
storyline and everything. So like, I don't know, maybe it's like something that I've just kept in the back drawer that I need to kind of, revisit.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. That'd be
Yeah.
so cool.
Because I've always
feel
heard,
like-
they're the webtoons, right? That a lot
Yeah.
of webtoons, but then they're I
Popular.
also have to navigate them carefully because some of them I hear are just like basically pornography. So like
Yeah.
I have
It depends on what you're reading, because like if you go straight yaoi, half the story is going to be porn. But if you go like is it shonen?
shonen.
Shonen, yeah.
Mhm.
That's not as graphic. You can get graphic.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
there's
But it's
nothing
not
graphic
as
in
graphic.
Shonen Ai. But if you go under yaoi is still like an umbrella term for Shonen Ai too. So
Yeah.
there's
yes.
there's there's a place where you can have a subscription to Futekia or something like they have a lot of mangas in their database, yaois and stuff, and they have like a spice-o-meter. So like 2 chilies is kind of not that spicy. 6
Yeah.
chilies, you're gonna have some interesting
You're
stuff.
going to watch it, like read it
So-
where no one else can see your screen. Or,
yeah.
Like
So I
I
read a
built
lot on there.
I built my tolerance a little bit more, especially when because I'm watching this publicly, right? If I'm in my house, like
Yeah.
it probably doesn't matter as much because like even if
Yeah.
I scream, no one will hear me, But
Yeah.
like I remember when I first saw Chiyoung's kiss scene in Pungdog, I was like
Mhm.
so flustered because it was lasting
Yeah.
for so long and they're being
Yeah.
Yeah,
so their kiss was so
Went at it.
intimate and it just like
Yeah.
it made me feel so flushed and like uncomfortable, but like
Yep.
yeah.
also a little curious at the same time and like
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
I have since built my tolerance, so I'm not as
Tolerance to it,
reactive as I
yeah.
used to be.
Mhm.
But I'm
Yeah.
still a little bit, I'm still a
Yeah.
little bit shy for those kind of things. So like whenever I'm on stream, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should like start like what is it? I've been getting a lot of ads for like BL webtoons. I'm like, should I start some? I'm like,
Mhm.
I think there was like this one popular one like BJ Alex or something. Should I
Oh
start that? And
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, no,
Oh, no.
no. And then I'm like, okay, but I also saw another one where it was like a very like period piece where there was like this
Yeah.
artist and like the
Oh.
pictures look beautiful, and I'm like, should I start that? And they're like,
Oh,
no.
I think I know which one
yeah,
you're
I know
talking
which
about
one
as
you're
well.
talking
No.
about.
I was like, what? But like,
Dude.
yeah. So I was like, apparently, webtoon BLs, it's like it can get very
Yeah.
extreme, more so than like the BLs that we watch. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I've
luckily
been
I have that
reading
too.
I've been reading explicit yaoi since I was like 14. So at this point I have seen it all. So I'm I'm fine. But yeah.
14 years old. This is how we learn about things.
Yeah, dude, my parents didn't know what I was doing
Oh
online.
my gosh.
That's so funny. Oh.
I will not talk
Nah.
about the first one I ever watched, like anime that I downloaded from LimeWire. That was
LimeWire.
that was
LimeWire,
traumatizing for a
wow.
14-year-old.
Because you really don't know what you're getting into in the beginning.
No.
You know?
Trigger warnings. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. No, but yeah, that's definitely there's some really good webtoons out there, but
Yeah, there
it's
are.
very much a little bit of a minefield if you want to be like reacting to
exactly.
them at the same time. 100%.
I actually bought a few manhwas, BL manhwas, and mangas when I randomly went to the bookstore in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot. There are a lot.
Mhm.
But I just picked up 3 random ones that I am like trying to get through those. But yeah, I'm just kind of now starting that journey of like trying the webtoons,
Mhm.
manhwas, mangas,
Yeah.
and seeing
A
where that
great
leads. But...
place to start would be like Cherry Magic, because like the premise of the story sounds really explicit, but there's nothing
Literally
explicit
talking
about
Cherry
them.
Magic.
Mhm.
Because I was literally
Have
thinking,
them
like,
too.
Cherry Magic was always on my list, but there are
Mhm.
too many options. Because there's the OG,
Yeah.
there's the Thai version, and then there's
Yeah.
the animated version
Yeah.
that recently came out, and there's also
Mhm.
the comic books as well, the manga. So
Yep.
I'm like, which one do I want to start? Because I'm the type of person, if I watch one series and I know the whole entire plot,
Yeah.
then chances are unless there's like something that I want more from it, I'm not gonna
Uh-huh.
revisit the other styles.
Japanese.
Japanese.
So you think Japanese?
100%
The live action
Japanese
Cherry
Yeah.
Magic.
Did you watch the
100%.
anime as well?
I haven't watched
No,
the
I
anime
haven't gotten
yet,
into
Okay,
that
you
yet.
haven't watched the anime. Okay.
live you
Hmm.
have
Yeah.
to watch live action Cherry Magic Japanese version.
I remember we were so obsessed when we were watching
Yeah.
it. It is so good. And
Yeah.
yeah. The hands down Japanese.
Because like, did that start from a manga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was a manga first, and then it got adapted into. Okay, because like the other ones, because even stuff like Given, it's a very popular BL
I really liked,
like
yeah.
anime. Apparently, that
Yeah.
was also a manga as well
Manga
that you can
first.
read.
Yeah,
So
it was
I remember
live
I was
action.
interested in that, and there's also at the BL manhwa store that I visited in Korea, they also had gosh, why can't I remember the title? The Japanese one, the dessert.
Oh, old fashioned cupcake.
Yeah, old fashioned cupcake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love that
Love the
show.
series.
I have
Love the
both.
series.
Yep.
I did not know that it was
based
a
off-
manga, but I went there
yeah.
and I saw old fashioned cupcake, and I was like, oh man, I didn't know that was like. But apparently, it's a lot more graphic than the real version, the live adaptation version.
Yes.
But I was
Yes,
curious.
it's
I was
good
like, maybe
though.
I should try it out. Yeah. Maybe that
good
one
though.
or yeah. But
Yeah.
I think definitely I'm starting to appreciate a little bit more angst nowadays. And if it's too pure, I used to only do fluffy, but now if it's fluffy, I'm just like, oh, like
Yeah.
there's just a
I get
part of
that.
me that isn't fulfilled Like, and some of these BLs they go without even a kiss. Like when I love, like
Yeah.
for instance,
Yeah.
Love
Or-
Mix
okay.
Up. I loved Love Mix Up, but the fact that they
Yeah.
didn't kiss makes me
Kinda,
want to
yeah.
watch another adaptation of it. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm maybe thinking
They'll
of
kiss-
watching the
There's
Thai
no-
adaptation.
kiss 100%.
There's there isn't a kiss in Cherry Magic, right? They don't kiss.
Right. I heard
No,
that
they
there is.
nearly
They pan
kiss,
out.
but
Yeah.
it's still so worth it.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
agree.
worth it.
I'm like you. I don't like BLs if there's no kiss or anything because I feel like it's so unrealistic when you're talking about a romantic relationship. So I just get taken out from it and disappointed. But Cherry Magic was great, even though there was no kiss. Like I didn't feel at the end of that show that something was missing.
Right. Okay.
So
Huh.
good.
That's also on my list. Just have it
Yeah.
like one day when I'm in the mood for something very fluffy. I
Yeah.
know that that's probably the one that I'm gonna
Yeah.
visit
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of angst, I would say, in Cherry Magic.
Yeah.
A little bit. But it's not angsty.
Have you watched
at
the
all. It's
Thai
definitely got
version?
fluff. Of Cherry Magic? Yeah. I
'Cause-
liked it.
I was debating to watch the Thai version because one of the actors in the Thai version is
Mhm.
an actor that I had my eye on before I started BL. I was just scrolling through TikTok and I saw a BL
Yeah.
scene with that actor and I was like,
Tay, right?
yeah, I was like, he's
Yeah.
so good looking.
Tay is
like
we all like
Awesome.
Tay.
Please
Yeah.
give him another
So-
partner.
He's so,
so
handsome.
good looking. And I was like, and I really wanted to watch the BL, but then I, just like time passed and I just like moved on with my
Yeah.
life and it was just
Yeah.
and then I remember when I started BLs, I'm like, wait a minute. I remember there was an actor that I was curious about and I wanted to
Mhm.
revisit. And then long and behold, he was in a Cherry Magic remake. So I was like, maybe I
Yeah.
should watch the Thai version. But
Yeah.
a lot of
Tay
people
and
have been
Yui-
very strong in me starting
is-
with the Japanese one.
You have
Yeah.
to
The
start
OG.
with the
You have to
Japanese.
start, and I think like from experience from other Thai shows that have been adapted from Japanese ones, they are usually so different that it doesn't feel like a
Oh.
remake, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it's if you started with the Japanese Cherry Magic and then watched the Thai Cherry Magic, you're going to get different things out of it.
Mhm.
Like you
Okay.
actually really will.
They
Um,
they
good to
really
know.
adapted to the culture of the country. I
Yeah.
know with Boys Over Flowers, they did a Thai remake, and you can't compare it to any of the other ones. It
Yeah.
is, yeah, completely different.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Huh. Good to know. Good to know.
would you going back to like Tay, would you say he's your favorite BL actor or do you have
Oh no, because I haven't
another
watched
person?
any of
Okay.
his.
Yeah. He's
Projects
just
yet?
pretty.
Yeah, that's all I,
feel
know
that.
for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Who's your favorite? Yeah.
Ooh, it's tough. Okay, so that's yeah. Man, but like, are we just talking pure
three?
aesthetic, or as an actor, or their character, or like, because like they're all
Let's go-
different. Like,
let's go three. Let's go pure aesthetic, actor,
Okay.
and character.
okay, pure aesthetic. I would probably say
Pot?
like he's yeah, pot.
Ah.
He's closest to my ideal type, probably.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost out of all of the BLs that I've watched.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, just like pure aesthetically. Yeah. Who as an actor, I really love, and he's not considered a BL actor because he's been like a lot of other projects as well. But a lot of people know that I love Itebin.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Tebin from Love for Love's Sake.
Yep.
Yeah, he was apparently also in like Penthouse and like he has like other projects as well. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's right here,
Yeah.
right over here. I don't know if you can see it clearly. He's right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Deserves a mention.
yeah, I just loved this character because the show Love for Love's Sake, why it caught me so off guard was I watched it because I watched Boys Planet, which I started because of Jiyoung from Pungdok. So it led from Pungdok to Boys Planet to discovering that Ungi was gonna be in a BL. I'm being like, so I wanted to start
Yep.
the BL for Ungi, and then I saw Chuan, and then I was like, I'm most likely gonna be attracted to this guy because he looks drop dead gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
And then I start the show, and then I realize that Tebin's character is just so charismatic.
Mhm.
I fell in love with him because of his acting and his like just capability to bring that character to life.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, he always has a special place in my heart as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's Tebin, and if I pick one more, oh man, okay, it's gonna be a tie between either Gemini,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and this is just like heartthrob,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
kind of like heartthrob, teen heartthrob, that kind of genre. I
Yeah.
really like Gemini, and I also really liked, oh gosh, I can't even remember his name. I'm ashamed, but the other lead guy from Jazz for Two.
Oh, I never watched that one.
You didn't watch Jazz for Two? Oh, I mean, okay.
No.
Alexa, help.
I have thoughts on it, but very strong beginning, and then a
Yeah.
very weak ending, in my opinion. It started out so
Mm.
strong though, and then it just I think they just didn't have enough time or budget or something, and they just kind of like
Yeah.
tied everything together and called it a wrap.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But his name is Chiogun. That's the actor who played. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's this guy. I don't know if you can see on the screen.
Mhm.
This
Yes.
actor.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. He just has like this he just has this charm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So him and Gemini
Get
have
that.
very similar charms that I appreciate. So I think those
Yeah.
two are also, yeah, like I'm just always curious on what they're up to. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think. I love to ask these questions, but I hate when I get asked them myself because I'm very much like I can never decide because I love I love everyone. So I'm like, it's
Right.
so hard to pinpoint it, and because it's very specific as well. It's like I like this specific person in this specific instance, or I like this specific character because of X, Y, and Z. But that doesn't
Right.
mean that they are my favorite.
Right, because sometimes you might like the character that they are portraying, but then you'll visit their Instagram and you're like, this is not like,
You're a bit boring.
not
or
it's like boring, or like, and then you kind of lose interest, or it can be the
Yeah.
opposite. Like when you look at them as a character on the show, you're just like, okay, they're okay, but then you see their
Yeah.
Instagram and you're like, oh my gosh, what have I just discovered? That was me with
Yeah.
War recently.
Yeah.
I saw
Oh
him
my
in Love
God.
Mechanic, and I was like, oh, he's cute.
Have you
Good
have you
looking.
seen the pottery videos?
The
he put out?
pottery. Oof.
Yeah,
Oh.
so I remember someone tagged me in the dog video,
Mhm.
like
Oh,
with him doing the trend with like the feeding someone,
Yep.
something,
Yep.
and then like
And it's
you
the
pan to
dog,
the
yeah.
person feeding them, and then it's his
And
dog.
it's actually yeah.
So
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, just the fact that he loves his dog so much, it's just so attractive to me. And then I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh,
Agree.
maybe I should visit his Instagram page. And then I went to his Instagram page, and then I
he
saw
is
the pottery. Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Can't
really
get back
I
never
understand
know.
that.
You never
Yeah.
know.
Can't
Like
come back from that.
discovering
No.
who they are as like a person, like as an individual, that's like a whole nother journey as well, apart from the BL.
Yes.
So
I have
Yeah.
3 actors that I'm fairly obsessed with. That will never be pushed out.
oh really?
So one is C. I actually I have.
Go the other way.
You see, there's a cutout there
Behind
that
the
I
dolls,
made
the colored
of his
dolls.
face.
Okay, I
Okay.
can. Okay, I see his right eye, and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right there.
She literally made a big
Who is that? Is that
cardboard
Fourth?
cutout
No,
of
it's
Z.
C.
Oh, Z.
It's C.
Z.
Yeah.
Wait,
From
how do you
Z
who is
New.
that?
He's C Nanu. They have this couple thing. It's Cutie Pie, and he did what's
Why
it
Are
called again,
You?
Heather? Why
Why
are
Are You? With
Why Are
Saint.
You? Amazing. If you haven't watched it,
Z.
Why Are
It's
You
spicy.
is amazing for
spicy.
the chemistry and spice, not exactly for the story.
that's
This
true.
guy.
That's true.
Is it this guy?
Yeah, Z
Yes.
Fruit. Yeah.
Yes. And he, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but he has the greatest. Dude, what is called again, Heather?
Happy Trail.
Okay. I get
I
that.
love that you keep asking me, Pixie. Like, and the fact that I just know exactly what you mean each time you ask.
Wow, that's
We
so
know each other.
specific. But
Yeah.
I mean,
That's Happy Trail.
oh, okay, there it is.
Mhm.
Oh, you're funny.
I'm just scrolling down, and I
There's
was like,
the Happy
Yeah,
Trail.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
I
is
see it
not
now.
shy about showing off. It's
No.
great.
oh,
So
Z.
Z and Gun, the not me Gun.
Adapan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just love him and his aesthetic and just who he is as a person.
Uh-huh.
And oh god, now I forgot the last one.
Is it Cow?
Yes, it's Cow.
Oh,
Sorry.
cow.
Yeah. Cow dung. Yeah, I'm so obsessed with that man. Like, oh, he can do everything. Like sweet, spicy.
Hmm.
He's a master. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to see him in OnlyFriends when I do see it.
Oh,
worth it.
Oh, you're
Worth
gonna
it.
freak out. Without it being like, it's not that it's such like very explicit, but it feels explicit.
Right, I know what you mean.
There
Because,
are
like, I
some
mean,
scenes.
if you, like, all the mainstream shows that I've watched that are, you know, just, like, random Netflix shows that are, you know, that have quote-unquote explicit scenes,
Mhm.
like, that's why I asked, like, you know, like, even shows like Game of Thrones, it's pretty explicit.
Yeah.
So I was asking them,
Yeah.
you know, is it like worse than that? Is it like, you know, and they're like, oh no, not necessarily. It's just
No.
messy and a little bit raunchy. So I was like,
I
oh,
mean,
okay.
how explicit can a show that gets to air on YouTube be? Like YouTube
Yeah,
is pretty
that.
strict, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels very explicit.
In like the world of like BL, Thai BL, like
Yeah.
there's explicit in the or like raunchy in the world of BL is
Mhm.
different to like I guess raunchy in the world of American pop culture or just pop culture in general. So I think that in
Right.
terms of that, it's definitely in that like 3 chili spice level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not Game of Thrones like
Mhm.
level.
Right, where they're showing like bare
Everything.
buttocks and everything, and yeah.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Kin Porsche.
Yeah, that is good push, yeah.
That I know I can't watch on stream for sure.
Yes.
But even
For sure.
still to this day, I always get messages like it's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your whole
It
entire
does-
life.
It will,
It is.
but
It is
It's not
very
an
good, and it's
on-stream
very
watch.
adult. Like if you want to watch dark adult stuff, then Kim Porsche is definitely one of those. So
it's a level of grey show that's even more level of grey than Only Friends.
yeah,
Yeah,
Interesting.
but it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Well, whenever there's like a and I heard Pit Babe as for Pit Babe, I just heard it's not even a great representation of an Omegaverse to begin with.
no, they took out the Omega stuff except for the scenting, like
Right.
those, yeah,
That's what I've
which
heard.
is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense really, but
Right.
we're just gonna
Yeah.
let that slide because we love Pavel.
I love Alexa. She's just like Pit Babe is all about the vibes.
The vibes, yeah.
All about the vibes.
Honestly. There's gonna be
Okay.
a season 2, and in the story, he's supposed to get pregnant. So
Right. That was one of the big things. Like I was like, does anyone
Yeah.
get pregnant? And they were like, no one. And I was just like,
And
oh.
you're like, well,
then-
is it? No. See, I like Omegaverse for the script flippingness that you can have in Omegaverse. So like there's like a set of rules in Omegaverse, and then all the fics I read and all of the content that I engage with is like changing the rules of Omegaverse. And that's what I like. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how else to explain it without like getting a little bit explicit. But like
I
I like
like
it
it-
when it's
I like
Uh-huh.
it because it's messy.
Okay.
Omegaverse
'Cause-
in general, or just Pit Babe? Because I haven't seen Pit
Yeah,
Babe yet,
both
even though
Pit-
I'm literally the Omegaverse girly on the
I mean,
podcast.
Omegaverse in general, I love
Yeah.
to read or watch because it's messy.
Like I'm
Yeah.
intrigued because I love power dynamics, and I think power
Uh-huh.
dynamics is great.
That's
Uh-huh.
what it is. It's the power dynamics.
But there's nothing. I haven't gotten any recommendations, BL wise. That's not like a manga or webtoon or whatever.
Mhm.
That is like that does it justice. So like
Yeah.
I guess I'm just waiting for something
I
really
think
good to come
it's-
out.
I think it's a little bit controversial because people, especially with mpreg and stuff, people are a little
Yeah.
bit on the fence of how they feel about shows showing male pregnancies when they're not technically possible, and there's controversies there. So I it's gonna take a long time before they dare to make a show that is actually properly Omegaverse. I think it's
Okay,
a little
I
bit
see.
too. Yes.
Okay. Oh, if going back to the Frankenstein thing of BL, I do love power dynamics. So I think,
Mhm.
yeah, I kind of like that when it's intentional. When it's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Have you
that's
seen
why
Love
I
in the Air?
no.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think I saw which one was that from? Is that
Love
a
in the Air. It's a
is that a
Thai one.
Oh,
Thai one? Oh, okay. I have not watched that one, but I
You
have
like
thoroughly
power
enjoyed
dynamics?
because I enjoyed what is it? Weatherman. I loved Weatherman.
Oh yes, my personal weatherman. I love that.
Yeah, my
too.
personal Weatherman, and I also enjoyed gosh, what was it? Why can't I think? There was another one that I really liked, but there are sometimes I don't like it when it's like frustrating power dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the frustrating one was what was it called? The Japanese one, Beautiful Man. No,
My
beautiful.
beautiful man.
My beautiful man.
Beautiful man.
Did you watch the second season? We have feelings.
Yes.
Okay.
That show.
I was so frustrated with the main character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so frustrating, and like
Yeah.
they did resolve it a little bit in the second season, but like yeah, that was a kind of power dynamic I did not like necessarily enjoy because it did not seem
That's
as
fair.
consensual, and the person like who was lesser than just was very frustrating, and just
Yeah.
like was
Yeah.
too fandom like it was too I'm your fan, I'm like not
Yeah.
deserving,
Putting you up on a pedestal. I'm not.
I
Yeah.
think they resolved that in the movie. Like the last thing that
Yes.
came out was the
Yeah.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That movie. Okay,
Yeah.
so the
movie was-
movie
Oof.
redeemed all of it, and
Yes.
Yeah.
it kind of satisfied all of that. But in the beginning,
Yeah.
I was just so frustrated with the main
Yeah.
character. So like that was a power dynamic for
get
season
it.
1 that I did not
Yeah.
necessarily enjoy.
Mhm.
Yeah, but oh gosh, what was another good power dynamic one? There was another one that I really liked that will probably come to me later, but
Do you remember what
Yeah.
country?
Oh, gee.
There
Wait,
are
no,
so many BLs.
Wait, I already said Pungdok, right? Pungdok was kind
Yeah.
of power dynamic because
A
boss.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. I liked maybe was it a Taiwan? Yeah, Weatherman, that one, and I don't know. I can't think of it right now. Maybe it'll come back to me.
That's all right.
But yeah, I love those kind of power dynamics. So I think I would have to add that into my BL. If I'm being-
First
yeah.
half of Love in the Air. I'm saying it now.
Mhm.
I
Love
think
in
you'd
the Air?
really enjoy it. Yeah,
Mhm.
Love in
Okay.
the Air. The first,
Just the first half.
couple.
Yeah.
I love
Just-
okay. People are
Better-
so
okay, the first
particular
couple.
about like
No, but
think-
this is kind of weird
No,
show
I think that's
because
very specifically because you're saying power dynamics. The
yeah,
first
but
couple.
about Love in the Air, it's the first half is one couple and the second half is another couple, which
Yeah.
is why
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So they don't
so it's-
connect necessarily.
They
not,
do, but
like
they
like
don't-
they're in the same world and they're friends, but like they've separated the stories into two halves
Yeah.
for the couples.
Yeah. So the first
And-
half is the first couple getting together, and then the second half is the second couple getting together.
I
Okay.
remember when we did a review on that, I was just like, the first half 5 out of 5.
Uh-huh.
Second half, 0. So
Jeez,
bad
Pixie.
for me personally. I hate the second half. I don't like the dynamics of the main couple. I think it's like abusive and gross, and it's fine. But the first part is amazing.
Okay. I'll put that in my list.
It's definitely got spice as well. Forewarn, if you are watching it on stream, there is spice, but you won't
It's
get
not
banned.
graphic.
It's not like banned worthy,
No, you won't
right?
get.
Like getting.
I don't think you'd get banned.
It's no, I don't think
there's
that
like
would
one
ban you.
scene I'm thinking in very particular that
Which one?
it's a kiss, but it could be borderline. I don't know.
Nah.
I don't think you'd get banned. I don't think.
No,
you'd get banned.
I don't think so.
But like when we're
I've
talking
made fan
power dynamics
videos of the show,
and we're not touching on like Kim Porsche or anything like that.
Right.
Love in the Air. I just
Love
remember because I love power dynamics as well.
Yeah.
Like, I love it so much. And when I first watched the first half of Love in the Air, like, you know how you were saying you're getting a little bit flushed when you were watching like the Poondog kiss?
Oh.
You will. I was like, if I was doing a reaction, I would have just been, because I blush quite easily. I go red really quickly. Everyone's seen it. And I would have been a tomato. Like, I would have been so red and sweating because I was like, this is like, there's a lot happening. It's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably an overshare, but like, it's really, really good.
Love in the Air.
Yeah.
But you said the first part. Only the first
Just
part.
the first
Yeah,
half.
the first 4
The
episodes,
Rain
right?
and
Isn't it
Payu.
4? Yeah.
It's only 4
Rain and
episodes?
Payu.
The first 4 episodes is the first part?
Isn't it? 7 episodes.
7 episodes. Thanks,
Oh, for
Alexa.
7 episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
It's
need
been
to,
a while
like,
since I watched it.
oh, it has, yeah. I was
But it's
watching a
so
couple
great.
of scenes the other day and I was like, yeah, it's still got it. And Why Are
Yeah.
You? Why Are You has power dynamics really well done. That's
Dude.
enemies to lovers with
Enemies to
like power
lovers.
dynamics that last the whole way.
It's
It's
a
it's
tutor
fun.
concept. Like, he is tutoring him, and it's great. Like, they keep like this push and pull between them. Like, there isn't one person that has the upper hand. Like, they keep pushing each other, and it's great.
Okay.
Why Are You specifically is
Why
that
are
one.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Love
Are
in
You?
the Air, it's like a it's like, how much I say? It's like Dom sub but vanilla, but not. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's really good. Yeah. I can't explain it any other way. When you watch it, you'll understand it. Yeah, there's a
Yes.
whole daddy dynamic, and it's actually legit really good. Even though, like, I'm not usually
I'm not a daddy person, but yeah.
It's good.
Okay, I put it to my list.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, I love how like we as like BL fans, whenever we meet someone who hasn't watched everything we watch, we were just like, oh, you need to watch this. You need to watch this.
And
No,
it's
it's
so
great.
hard to like rein it in as well because we're being so
Oh, we're being
info
calm
dump
right
people.
now.
We're like
Right.
the way that we show our love is literally like we want to info dump on you. We want to share how much we love about certain things. We're
Yeah.
reining it in so much right
Yeah,
now.
so much.
But I think one good thing about coming into like the game, BL game, kind of later than a lot of others, is that
Yeah.
I get a filtered version of everything. So like we have the
Yeah.
veterans who've been doing this for like the past 10 plus years. They've watched every single series that's come out,
Yep.
good and bad. So they can like filter it on. They're like, oh, don't watch
Yeah.
this. Don't watch this. This is
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I've always gotten like, you know, the cream of the crop for the most part
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the ones that
Yeah.
I've watched. So like at a certain point, I think I had to stop and take a break because I was like,
There's
all
so
of these series
so
are
much.
so good and it's so much
Yeah.
stimulation
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I'm getting overwhelmed and then I was like, I think we need a palate cleanser. Like someone give
Right.
me
Just
like a bad BL that we can watch
Yeah.
for like shits and giggles.
yeah.
Or maybe just something
Yeah.
very cute and like very middle of the ground that I can just kind of, you know, just breeze through to kind of clean my palate.
sometimes you need like a bad enough BL that it's so bad it's good to watch.
Yeah.
Right. I have been
100%.
searching for a few of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe
100%.
maybe it's just for the eye candy. Sometimes it's a good mix. Even if it has like if I feel no attraction to any of the characters, then you better make sure that the plot is like on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if there's like a Chiung level, actor or two on there that I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is so beautifully hot. Like I could just stare at them, and like it'll be a great movie. Then we can just
It carries.
just give me a few fan moments, and then
yeah,
it will just carry. As you said, carry the whole entire series.
Yeah.
Has to be a balance.
Definitely
It's
a
about
couple
that
of
balance.
those.
it is about that balance.
Yeah. So
like
if
that-
there's
yeah.
any hot trash series that have like incredibly hot people,
Why
then
are
maybe
you? I love it so much, but it's trash.
Oh, okay, so it is trash.
Well,
good, but it's-
no, it's
okay.
good. It's good. But
okay.
yes, it's trash. But it's
it
good.
starts strong, and then COVID fucked it
happened
up because like yeah.
Okay.
And so
but
the story...
it's not like because of COVID they sort of lost the grasp of the other storylines in the show.
Yeah. So they just went all in on
the spice between the main couple. So it went sort of from a show that had like I don't know, like 6 different couples if you count them all, to having one.
One, two.
Or
one had most
two,
of the story, but like there were 2, and like so because
technically
because like why are you literally started as so it was Jimmy and Tommy were the main couple. I'm talking about the actors now. Jimmy and Tommy were the main couple, and Z and Saint were the secondary couple. And then as they were going along, COVID kind of fucked it up, and Jimmy and Tommy weren't able to film their scenes. So, but Z and Saint had filmed a lot of their scenes, so they just re-edited the series as it was airing to just kind of focus on Z and Saint scenes, and they developed the story that way. And Tommy and Jimmy were just kind of like, actually, they disappeared for a massive chunk.
They disappeared. They came back in like the last episode just to wrap it up.
So it's like
and then they just.
The first part is the pre-COVID part, I would assume then.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of episodes where like, it's pre-COVID, or at least like they were able to film as COVID was kind of starting to happen. And
before
then
the restrictions.
the shutdowns and everything. And it was like, well, we can only film. So it was like some of it was shut down, and then they were able to open it up again, and they were able to film like with like 2 people in the room or something. So that's when you get some scenes where it's literally just 2 people in the scene, and you're like, was this
2 people in a hot tub talking about love?
Okay, the 2 people in the hot tub is like, that makes sense because they literally just had sex. So like, of course they're just going to be the only ones in the hot tub.
Yep.
But like, it was, it's good. I say trash. It's not actually trash because it is a fun watch. You can follow along. But it's not the best one out there.
Okay.
I mean, the quality is the quality of the show in general is good.
Filmed well.
Yeah.
So will I,
if I
just watch the first half, will I get enough?
No, you gotta watch the whole thing. But
why
are you?
Why are you? You need to watch the whole thing.
Oh,
But
why are
Love
you?
in the
Okay,
Air-
Love in the Air was the first part one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love in the Air, you can just watch the first part and be done. Like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll feel fulfilled and like have the full circle moment.
There's a
and be like,
closure
okay.
to their relationship. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they do. They have so instead of doing 2 seasons, they literally did 1 season and just split it in half for Love in the Air. So it's like legit. That first part is that first couple's entire story from like beginning to end, basically. And then in the second part, you kind of see that couple a little bit because they're friends with the second part's main couple, but you don't really see.
Yeah, it's basically 2 separate shows. Yeah.
You don't really see like.
But it's very popular.
Yeah.
Like I did a fan video of it because I was so obsessed, and it had like in a couple of months had like 300,000 views on YouTube. They're just like, okay, well.
Wow.
Boss and Noel are so popular.
Yeah, they are.
And they're very good looking, and they're very good looking together.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Noel half Korean or something?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think did he train as an idol for a bit?
Yeah, I think so. There was some talk about that.
I saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, he's giving me like Felix vibes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
With his long hair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I see it all the time. Actually, so Felix is so Noel is a fan of Felix, and so he actually gets inspiration from Felix.
Oh, no way.
For some of his looks and like, yeah.
That's cool. Huh.
It's so cool.
Boss and Noel has amazing chemistry together. That's like...
Yeah, chemistry... It just... Some couples just hit differently. Yeah. It's just...
100%.
Yeah. There are some couples where I see the series and I'm like, I'm okay with it ending here as a couple, and I'd rather see the characters with other people now. But sometimes I understand the ship of like, you know, getting a couple and getting that power couple and like seeing them through. I felt that way with Gemini and Fourth. I just feel like they just work so well together that I'm okay with seeing them in completely different projects. So I completely get that. Yeah. Chemistry is so rare and so important at the same time.
Yeah. I think, Ty Beale does that so well.
Yeah.
Like just having those pairings and going all in on the pairing when it works.
Right.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Like, do you have any goals for the rest of 2024?
I guess that's kind of the part that I'm not completely sure of. I'm kind of taking things as they come, because like, you know, there have been so many different opportunities and so many, you know, opportunities that come and go as well. So I think I'm kind of just playing it by ear. The only thing that I have planned is music wise, but a lot of things are kind of up in the air. Like I see myself going in a lot of different directions as well. So I don't want to necessarily limit myself. So I guess the only plan I have is music based, but I do have plans to kind of try other things and see where things go. So we'll see.
Oh, that's exciting. I like that it's you're very much a just kind of go with it, try it, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That's like it feels like that's kind of
that.
Yeah. That's where you're settling is like a let's see what happens. Let's just say yes to the opportunity and just go with it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So lastly, where can people find you online?
So, okay. So every place that I'm at you're going to get something a little bit different. Like my Instagram is probably my most like just mainstream curated version. And it's not like super curated, but like it's a little bit more professional, let's say. So like there, I'm going to try to refrain from looking too thirsty. You know, for professional reasons, in case there's you know, an important like person who wants to like book me for something or like, you know. So that's the one that I always put forward first. And then when they're a little bit more comfortable and depending on, you know, their preferences on what side they want to see, if you want to see more of my like lifestyle stuff, then YouTube would definitely be the place. And YouTube is just very casual. I do love editing, but like it's just very me in my raw state form. I'm not like, you know, trying to look good. I'm just like, you know, in my casual clothes, like not doing my hair and just, you know, just like going on about daily life in general. So that's like me in my most natural state. I feel like that's what you'll see on YouTube. And on Twitter, that's kind of like my unhinged self. Yeah, like sometimes I even surprise myself, but yeah, that's where there are no limits. I just say what's on my mind. Like I'll be fanboying over guys. I'm talking about BLs. I'll be ranting about a series, or just daily life in general. Yeah, that's what my Twitter is for. And if you want to just strictly watch BLs with me, then you can find me on Twitch as well. And all of the platforms are all Dabit 1205. So yeah,
Nice.
pretty easy.
Perfect. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dabit. We've had a lot of fun getting to know you. Talking BL for like, I'm pretty sure it was like literally probably more than half of this episode was just us talking about BL, but that's literally what we love to do, and we're so glad that you're able to join us today to do that.
No, it was fun. It was fun. It's nice to actually have the conversation instead of, like streams are nice and you get to like read all the comments, but like to actually have a face to face, back and forth, talk about BLs. It was like kind of new for me and also refreshing. So I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad. You're welcome on Lovecast anytime, and you're welcome to talk, like, tweet us, or we'll probably end up tweeting you about BLs. Like, please, like we're always happy to talk about BL. So you know where to find us. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're at it, why not share this episode with your friends? It really helps us all out. Make sure you check out Dabit on all of his socials. We'll leave everything down below. And, to come and join us on Discord if you want to keep talking. And also add us on our socials as well, Lovecast Podcast. Thanks for joining us this week, everyone. And we hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.
Bye, guys. Oh, my dog is literally right at my feet. So if you hear any panting or any weird farting noise or anything, that's most likely gonna be it. Yeah, if there's any weird grumbling sounds, it's just